Now, I'm not gonna say exactly where, but I live less than an hour away from Mobile, Alabama, the town in which this place takes place. So that's really cool. Hello, my little filmer dudes. My name is Ivan Montero, and thank you for joining me on my journey to watch every TV show ever created. Not really, but we are gonna get close. I just finished watching the newest Amazon Prime Video show, Clean Slate. Now, I'll be honest, Prime Video is more like my side piece than my main squeeze. Yeah, feel? I often forget that it exists. I always am skeptical about what it offers me, but most times I end up having a good time. It's just a plethora of app issues, which have been mostly worked on, not really resolved in my opinion. But it has been a deterrent for me when deciding which streaming service should I open today. However, this year I am trying to make a conscious effort to incorporate Prime Video into my watching habits, especially because there's so much on there that I actually want to watch. So when I heard about Clean Slate last week, I knew I just had to try. And I don't really read synopsis or watch trailers anymore. I kind of just hit play or hit add to watch list, and I either forget about it like Amazon Prime, or I start watching it completely blind, not really knowing what I'm getting myself into. That's kind of the deal here. I had no idea what this show was about and where this show was going to lead and what to even expect. I just knew I was gonna watch it. And one of my favorite things is going into something blind and getting good surprises. That is likely how gambling starts. Clean Slate, created by and starring Laverne Cox, is about Desiree, a trans woman who comes back to her conservatively Christian hometown to live with her father in an attempt to restore their estranged relationship. Now, while I was watching this show, the only thing that kept coming to mind was this oddly feels nostalgic, and I couldn't really place the exact reason. Was it the tone? Was it the vibe? Was it the set design, the writing? And you wanna know what? I think it was all of it. I got hints of the Wonder Years 2021 mixed with notes of the Goldbergs, while having an undertone of both Fresh Off the Boat and Blackish. The common denominator here is that all of these shows are sitcoms that got me through high school and pretty much all of college. Some of my absolute favorite sitcoms to date. Clean Slate, though in my opinion not quite to their level just yet, had that familiar feeling while watching the early seasons of those shows. Heartwarming, charming, super cute, super sweet, laugh out loud funny when it's got to be, and knows when to deliver emotion and drama in the times that it's gotta. Honestly, classic sitcom. I'm just worried that this won't get as much recognition as it normally would have if it were on Netflix or Hulu. But that is why I'm making this review, so I can put some eyes on it, hopefully. And something that this show does well, in my opinion, is the conservative Christian angle. Something that this show does well, in my opinion, is the conservative church angle. I grew up in church and in conservative environments, so this was something that I could personally attest to being accurate and not necessarily hyperbolic in any way. Because I guarantee you some of the things that the pastor does might strike a chord with some people, but I kid you not, my home church's pastors straight up once accused me of choosing a Christian college that had a different denomination as their church just because I wanted to sleep with all the boys at that church and ruin my relationship with Jesus. True story. Just because it was a different denomination. So yeah, some of the things the pastor in this show says, I can fully believe it. But still, Desiree makes the best of the situation where she finds herself because of the sudden adversity within the church. But what makes this show pretty good, in contrast, is that there are people within that same church who want to support Desiree. And it's Desiree being the bigger person because she knows that she wants to go to church. She wants to have a good relationship with Jesus. Jesus is for everyone. So why are we cutting out people who want to go to church. Queer and trans people can participate in the church if they want, and the church just needs to be more accepting of them, and vice versa, to be honest. There's a world where these two things exist in tandem. I've been saying this for a long ass time. And it was also interesting to see Desiree, who is an out trans woman, interact with this town, but alongside have her best friend, Lewis, who is a closeted gay man and struggles with wanting to be open, but also not wanting to disappoint the church because he is the choir leader. So you get both sides of the coin here, and I find it all fascinating, especially because I grew up on the other spectrum of this show, the not so positive spectrum of this show, and I kind of wish those were my circumstances instead. There's a lot to say with this show, and honestly I can go on forever, but I can't. But I just wanted to say before moving on that the point of this show, I believe, is the Matthew 18:20 verse, which says, where two or more are gathered in my name, there I am also. And I am making this way more biblical than the show actually was. It wasn't really prominent at all, I swear. This is just what I got. But I do think it is talking about that verse, because in modern day Christianity, it almost seems as if you don't go to church, you're either not a good or strong Christian or not a Christian at all. And that couldn't be more false. The verse where two or more are gathered in my name wasn't referring to a church or an establishment. Yet so many Christians today take it out of context to say that it is about that, but it's not. It's not even referring to a church. But if we must, it's referring to church, the community, not the establishment. And I absolutely love how this show portrays this by the end of the season with Desiree, her father, her newfound friends, her newfound family and community. Don't get me wrong, there are issues with this show. I feel it needs tighter directing and a couple once-overs with the scripts, probably more so with the directing. There's a slight romantic subplot between Desiree and Mac, a reformed convict, played by Jay Wilkinson, that didn't quite mesh with me. The chemistry wasn't really there, not until the hilarious shirtless scene that, I'll admit, also got me. But there are moments in the script and in the dialogue that don't feel quite authentic to me, and it often makes this go from a smoother ride to a kind of a bumpy ride, and more of a granular ride. Nothing overtly distracting. These are just things I've noticed as a writer and a critic. Regardless, the show is insanely cute. It's fun, it's charming, it's heartwarming even, and it's nostalgic overall. It's likely one of the best palate cleanser shows that I've seen in a while. And I won't lie, my critic side and my TV fan watching side kind of made this one difficult to judge. Try to keep as open mind as possible, objectivity as open as possible. So I honestly flitted between giving this an A- or a B+, and I wasn't really sure what to do. So here's what I'm gonna do instead. In college, I ended one of my semesters, one of my math classes, with an 89.5%. I was so close, but because I had shown that I actually wanted to pass the class, I had done the work, I went to every single class, I participated, I did all the things that I needed to do. I wasn't trying to be a teacher's pet. I just really did not want to have to retake math the next semester. But because I did all of that, I did the work, my teacher rewarded me and gave me that extra 0.5%. So that is exactly what I'm gonna do. This show critically likely gets like a 8.9, but because it did the work, because it participated, I'm giving it that extra percent. So it's gonna land with a 99 out of 10. Know your thoughts in the comments below. My social media links are also in the description below. Have you seen Clean Slate? Are you planning to watch this one? Let me know. And I will see you next time. You've just been Montified.